The process of the national budget follows 4 stages, namely preparation, authorization, execution, and audit. During the preparation stage, the executive branch, President, OMB, Cabinet, executive agencies, etc., develops and submits a budget report in January, titled the Economic Report of the President. Exactly how the budget is prepared can differ from one president's administration to another, using either a top-bottom approach or a bottom-up approach. The period before Reagan, decisions came from the bottom up. Agencies would submit forecasts of their spending and request approval from the president. The Reagan administration centralized the decision-making. The director of the OBM, along with the president, would now review and assess the expenditures, thus using a top-bottom approach. But after the Reagan administration, the top-bottom approach waned, and agencies once again gained greater influence on their funding. Congressional committees review the economic report of the president. In May, Congress presents the first budget resolution, outlining revenue and spending goals. This report does not require presidential approval. In September, after much debate and discussion, Congress presents the second budget resolution, which is not law but commits somewhat Congress to a budget. If differences are settled, Congress and the President adopt the budget in September for the following fiscal year, which begins October 1st and ends September 30th of the following year. When members of Congress and the President cannot agree on a budget resolution, they often adopt a continuing resolution, allowing agencies to operate by allocating funds at previous year's level for a period of time, sometimes called by political pundits kicking the can. This will prevent a government shutdown. While negotiating the budget resolutions, Congress considers how each policy and program will be funded. There are 2 steps to fund a government program. First is the authorization stage. Congress must authorize a particular program and define the expenditures. However, authorization does not set aside or find the funding from the budget. Some policies may have been authorized but did not receive the stipulated funding if money cannot be found in the budget. Many programs like NASA do not need annual authorization, but has a different period in which authorization must be renewed. Second is the appropriation stage. Congress and the President finds the money from the budget and appropriates the expenditures. Congress does not need to appropriate all the funds authorized. Entitlement programs such as Social Security do not need to pass through both stages at the end of the fiscal year. Funding for entitlement programs are guaranteed and automatic. Once the budget is adopted, programs are authorized, and expenditures are appropriated. The executive branch executes funding to the agencies and programs. Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution states, "No money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law." That is, the President cannot allocate money unless Congress has appropriated it. That being said, the Constitution does not require that the President must allocate all funds that had been appropriated by Congress. Past presidents, starting with Thomas Jefferson, refused to allocate appropriated funds. Refusing to spend appropriated money is called impoundment. In 1974, while the Watergate scandal occupied President Nixon's time, Congress had passed the Budget and Impoundment Control Act, which besides creating the CBO, requires the President spend all appropriated funds. The 4th stage is the audit process. Once expenditures have been appropriated, the Government Accountability Office, GAO, and the Office of Inspector General, OIG, may audit agencies to discover improper use of funds, illegal activity, waste, and abuse. Congressional committees may request the GAO to conduct an audit of a program or an agency. In addition, GAO may conduct an audit without a committee's request. The national budget is very complex and requires an army of analysts to develop. Heated debate over the budget plagues the media and is often brought up during election time. Such debates can lead to a government shutdown where only the essential services remain in operation. Nonetheless, conflicts over the budget usually concern only 3% of the national budget.